guys, it's me again. I thought I'd sit down and talk to you guys and just kind of story time with you guys about some crazy, crazy stuff in my life. This whole story is going to blow your mind. You're going to be like, what in the what? You're going to think it's something out of a movie plot, but it's really not. It's actually my life, and it actually did happen, and I have got backups on it. I won't mention names because the people in this story don't need to be mentioned. However, the story is pretty, it's pretty, hilarious. So let's just jump right in. So, let's start with just, I don't remember what month it was. I want to say March of 2011. It could have been earlier. We'll just say earlier. I started talking to this guy that was worked for a band. He was not in a band, but he worked for a band. And I was really, like, into him. But at the time I had a guy I was dating, I kind of hurt that guy's feelings. And if you're watching this, to both you gentlemen, sorry to both you. One, to the guy who got his feelings truly hurt, and B, to the guy who did all the shit he did. Karma caught up to you, buddy. Anyway, so the story goes like this. I met these two gentlemen. Messaged him. I added one on Facebook, and then I said he was cute or whatever, and then he messaged me, and we started talking, texting, all that good stuff. And then I wrote one. I think I wrote one on Facebook, or I added him. I don't know. I was in kind of a band guy phase. One was in a band, one was not in a band. So that's just make that very clear. So I worked for, if I can remember how it went, Buffalo Wild Wings, but I also did some like side projects for other stuff. I'm not gonna get into that. It's nothing stripping, nothing hooking out, none of that. But it was just like kind of stuff I did on the side to make money, and it was like brand stuff, and I worked for companies, and they would, you know, kind of send us out to do all this cool stuff. Well, I met this guy, and we started writing each other, messaging each other for about a month or two, you know, sending nudes, whatever. I was single. But I don't condone sending nudes now. I'm married, and if I want to send nudes, I just go into my room and show my husband. I mean, hey, that's just how it goes. But anyways, yeah, it was kind of, you know, one of those weird things. I really was into this guy. My mom was there, and he would my mom was visiting me for a month, and he would text me all the time, "Good morning, princess. I miss you. How are you?" And we'd send each other pictures, not like naughty pictures all the time, but like cute pictures of each other. Like, we would talk. Like, we never really texted on the phone. I mean, we would text and like talk a lot, like a lot. And he always initiated the good morning text, never me. But little did I know that this guy, you'll get into the rest of it. So as it proceeds to go on, I'm stalking this other guy, and the other guy and I had this weird, like, relationship, and I never really wanted to commit to him, you know, it just was weird. Well, as the time proceeds, I drive out to California with one of my good friends I worked with at the time, to see this guy and a bunch of bands that he was working with. Well, we get there, and, you know, he is gorgeous in person. Gorgeous. Like, gorge. So we get there, and I'm, like, totally head over. I told her, I was like, that's him, blah, blah, blah. I was friends with one of the guys in the band. That whole situation turned really bad, and I apologize to him, too, because I kind of got manipulated into saying some things that didn't really happen, and at that time and point in my life, there was a lot of shit going on, so I apologize to you. YouTube. I won't mention names, and I won't mention bands, because I don't want people putting two and two together, and I don't want drama, and I don't want Facebook messages and or Twitter messages or phone calls from people in this story. So the guy I was dating, he and I hung out, we talked, we, you know, did all that good stuff, and I mean, we had a relationship going on, it felt like. He lived a state away from me, and I was living in Vegas at the time, so I would go see a lot of shows, and I was always working, and I was always doing things because I lived in Vegas. Well, little did I know that some things would happen, and it would be brought to mine and his attention, and we'd bring it to one another, and so the guy, he just kind of shut me off, just kind of stopped talking to me, so I was like, whatever, so I gave the other guy a chance. The other guy came down to visit because he was in town, and he spent like a whole evening with me, spent like the whole next morning with me, and then he had to leave super early. At that time, was starting to actually have feelings for this guy. I was like, okay, well, we'll see where this goes. Lo and behold, sneaky snake in the grass comes back around saying how he misses me, he's sorry, you know, things didn't work out, and this was just like a month or two later from the time that he just stopped talking to me. And the other guy and I we always had a really rocky, like, I was never really in a solid relationship at this time. We had a really rocky start, finish, him and I, and it went on for like a good 2.5 years with the other guy, like, oh my, 2 years? Oh! But anyways, so the guy that I was seeing, you know, they would come through Vegas, or he would come see me, or I would go see him. And so he came through again, and I spent all day with him. You know, we went downtown Vegas. We went to my work. We had lunch. We hung out. We went back to my apartment. We went swimming in the pool. Like, we had a great time. Well, you know, at that time, I had great friends, great guy friends, people I talked to all the time, and we did cool stuff. Like, we did awesome stuff. Well, he and I hung out, you know, did all that stuff, and then he had to go back, and I took him back or whatever, and he and I still talked. We had whatever going on, and the summer progressed. I mean, we weren't really, like, solid together, but me and my friend were talking about moving to California, and I told him, like, if I got a place, you know, would he move out there? And he was like, well, I don't know, where would you be living? And I told him it would be like probably LA, because that's where we wanted to go, and it was 3 of us, and then it would be included in him. Well, things just got weirder and weirder as the summer went on, and this, you know, phone on me and the other guy were still talking, but we never saw each other again. This is where it gets really, truly, like, we never saw each other again, the other guy. But we did talk all the time, and we talked on the phone, and, you know, I did like him, but I didn't really want to commit because I was so into the other guy. Tattoos, piercing, you know, the whole... So, me and this other guy, like, proceed to... I sound like a whore, but I'm really not. Trust me, I'm really not. I try to stretch myself thin with people. Like, I try to make myself better, like, for everyone than I really need to be when I really need to be focusing on, like, that one situation. So, okay, so... This guy and I, you know, we have, or whatever, sorry, my lights have stuff in them. There we go. We have some, like, strange chemistry, like, some strange weird stuff goes on, like, and then over the summer, him and I just kind of stopped whatever we were. I mean, we weren't dating, like, I don't know what we were, what was going on. I wanted to be official, but he never made it official. And disclaimer, ladies, if a man doesn't want to make it official, and he can't return your phone calls and or text, he's not worth your time. Believe me, move on. I wish I would have heard this advice I'm giving you ladies right now, or you gentlemen right now. Move on. If they don't put their time and their effort into you, don't put your time and effort into them. That's what I gotta say. Anyway, so moving on. So the guy, yeah, we definitely were like, yeah, let's hook up, hang out. And there's a couple other people I tried to date after him, you know, and I ended up falling for someone else. And I mean, that guy him and I became really good friends, and I don't know why we don't talk anymore, but we did for a long time, and like, we were great friends. However, things just did not work out with me and this guy. So the guy and I, we saw each other a few more times, and proceedingly it gets better and better of seeing each other. You know, he would stop through Vegas, I would see him, and we would hang out. It gets good. Well, he worked for this thing called 48 Hour Festival, and that was the last time I really saw him, because he was going on tour for another 9 weeks. Well, then him and I just kind of, we still talked, we still had a relationship thing going on or whatever, and he still said he, like, wanted to be with me and whatnot. Well, then I bought tickets to Wu-Tang Clan. If you're watching this and you're my friends and you know who I'm talking about, do not mention names, because you know this story. Don't mention names. Anyways, back into the story. So October was the last time I saw him. January was the last time I will ever see him. And then the story, this is where the part of it all gets freaking crazy. So come January that next year, he comes down for Wu-Tang Clan because I bought him Christmas tickets. I bought him, and I was seeing somebody at this time that I actually was really invested in. And I was pulling away, and he could tell I was pulling away. So in order for him to pull away, for him to go away, he had to push me away. And that's what happened. And we got in a huge big fight that weekend. It just ended up being a shit show. The whole concert was a shit show. We were a shit show. I ended up with bronchitis, actually, so I ended up really sick. And the guy I was talking to, because I ditched the original guy, and I just had stayed friends, nothing really worked out. The guy I was really invested in, he, because I was trying to date. I was just got in a relationship. I was young. I was trying to date. And so me and this guy, the D-bag, and you'll see why he's a D-bag, just kind of stopped talking, you know. And throughout that whole summer, I'm begging him to talk to me. I miss you, you're an asshole, I can't believe you did this to me, blah, 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 because I was in love, but I was invested in the other guy. But my heart was still with the other person because I had fallen in love. And I shouldn't have, because he didn't love me, he didn't want to be with me, because this is where it gets good. That October, so fast forward through all the craziness that summer, that October, No, I even texted him on his birthday that year too. That's the gay thing. And I don't mean gay in like a bad derogatory term because my best friend's a lesbian. I mean it in a stupid, idiotic, like, this is so stupid, stupid. Um, October comes around and he sends me, I was an asshole is what he sends me. And I was like, what? And he's like, I was an asshole and I miss you. I was like, I miss you too. He was like, I wish I could tell you what was really going on, but I didn't, blah, 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 this and that, kind of like sweet talking me again. Well, then my best friend is on Instagram. How this happens is so crazy. She sees a picture with a tag of this guy's Instagram, and she says, hey, isn't blankety blank's Instagram name blankety blank? And I said, yeah. She goes, oh, you gotta see this shit. Shows me he got married. Come to find out, he had a relationship for 6 years. 6 years. And was still dating the girl when he came down to see me for the Wu-Tang Clan concert. The fuck? What? So I was so livid and I texted him and I said, are you or are you not in a relationship? Because I doubt you're at your grandma's house. He said, it's complicated. I can't really get into it. Then he finds out that my friend emailed his wife. Well, him and his wife told me a bunch of BS that they'd been together 6 years. I started freaking out because he proposed to me. He said he wanted to just get married. He wanted to be with me, blah, blah, blah. But I never gave into it because I knew something was not right in my heart of hearts. So, it gets progressively freaking weirder. I find out he's got all these different girls. There's even a crazy girl in the midst of everything that I didn't mention because her and I ended up becoming friends. They told me a bunch of BS and I ended up showing him the messages that she said about him. And, I just was shocked that he was like, she's fucking crazy. Excuse my language. He was like, she's out of control, blah, blah, blah. Come to find out, he's the liar. He's the one that's out of control. He's the one that makes me seem like I'm crazy. I wasn't crazy. I may have behaved a little crazy, but my heart was so torn and so hurt. And it's just kind of crazy because you think, oh no, there's no way this is true. Oh, it's true. He got a girlfriend of 6 years. 6 years. Then he married her and they have a kid. But that's none of my business to share but let me just tell you, all his errors of his ways caught up with him and kicked him in the butt. After he blocked me on social media, this, that, and the other, and I'm not the one that did anything. I did not do anything to this guy. Nothing. And I'm the crazy one. I mean, there's things I'm not going to mention in the story because it's just private, but it's just like such a crazy story because it's like I spent all this like almost a full year with this guy, just in love with him, head over heels, infatuated with him, not sleeping with anyone else, not seeing anyone else. I mean, I was talking to other people, yeah, but not like, and he was being mean about one of my good friends who I made friends with because I worked Warped Tour, and it just really upset me because it's like I really liked this guy and I wasn't talking to the other guy, the first guy, the guy, because he hurt me. He broke my heart. He treated me like shit, but I kept coming back. For reals, though. For reals, though. How dumb am I? So the disclaimer of this story is, ladies and gentlemen, if a guy cannot give you, a female or a male, does not give you the time, the effort, the space, the love, the kindness, the conditioning that you need as a human being, don't deal with it any longer. I mean, because you may not think anything's wrong with the situation, but let me give you some pointers on when he's just not that into you. 1, he does not text you good morning in the morning after you guys have officially hooked up. Same goes for girls. If you guys hook up and he just stops all of a sudden all the lovey-dovey stuff, he's pulling away. 2, when he makes you believe that y'all are dating, but he's talking to other girls and or guys, whatever you guys are into, whatever floats thy boat, he's just not that into you. And I can tell you many, many stories about how I know this. 3, if you get played out like you're the bad guy, you're crazy, and he won't commit, but you're begging for it, he's not that into you. 4, if you put yourself out there for him time and time again, but you feel bad at the end of every conversation and you're the one begging for him back, he's just not that into you and he's an asshole. And 5, the fifth one, if you have any gut feelings, sneaking suspicions, and or you see things on Facebook or girls and pictures that you're not aware that he sends you saying that he's with friends, I'm going to give you some crazy advice. Look up, if he's constantly liking things or he's tagged by a certain girl or she or he, whatever, I would look into that person because for all you know, you could be like me and being